Let me ask you something uncomfortable. And I want you to really sit with this question before you answer it. How many conversations have you had with a woman that felt good in the moment, felt natural, felt like something was genuinely building between you, and then just disappeared? She was polite. She smiled. Maybe she even laughed at a few things you said, and then she walked away and never thought about you again. Not once. You became just another face in a week full of faces. Another forgettable Tuesday. If that has happened to you more than once, and I already know the answer is yes because it happens to almost every man, then I need you to understand something right now. It was not your looks. It was not your confidence level. It was not your clothes or your job or how much money you make. It was one thing, one single invisible mistake that most men make in every single conversation without ever realizing it. And until someone points it out, you will keep making it. You will keep walking away from conversations that felt fine, wondering why nothing ever converts, wondering why women are polite but never genuinely interested, wondering what the men who do create that spark are actually doing differently. Today, I am going to show you exactly what that mistake is, and then I am going to give you something far more valuable. I am going to give you one question, just one, that has the psychological power to make a woman think about you for hours after you have walked away. Not because you were the most attractive man in the room, not because you said something perfect, but because you made her feel something she was not expecting. And in a world where most men are completely predictable, that feeling is everything. Stay with me until the end because what I am about to share builds on itself and the final piece is the one that ties everything together. If you are new here, welcome. This channel exists for one reason: to help real men build real confidence and create real connections. Not with tricks, not with manipulation, with understanding, with presence, with the kind of knowledge that actually changes how you move through the world. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss what we put out next. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, share this with him. You might be doing him the biggest favor of his life. Now let us get into it. Here is the honest truth that nobody is teaching men right now. Ordinary questions produce ordinary results. Every single time. When you walk up to a woman and ask her what she does for work, or how her weekend was, or where she is from, you have not done anything wrong exactly. Those are perfectly fine questions. The problem is that every other man in that room is asking her the exact same things. You blend into the background instantly. You become wallpaper. She answers you on complete autopilot. Her mind is already half somewhere else. And by the time she gets home that night, you are already gone from her memory. Not because she disliked you, but because you never gave her anything to hold on to. And here is the part that is really important to understand. Forgettable questions create forgettable men. It is not complicated. It is just true. The quality of your question directly determines the quality of the experience she has talking to you. And the quality of that experience determines whether she thinks about you again or whether you simply cease to exist in her mind the moment the conversation ends. If you have ever walked away from a conversation thinking it went well, you exchanged numbers maybe, or at the very least it felt pleasant and easy, and then nothing came from it. She did not text back with any energy. She did not bring you up to her friends. She just moved on completely. That right there is the symptom of playing it safe. And safe is invisible. Safe is the man she was perfectly comfortable forgetting. So let us talk about what actually creates the opposite of that. Let us talk about what makes a man unforgettable. And to understand it properly, we need to go a little deeper into how the human brain actually works in social situations. Because this is not just dating advice, this is psychology. And when you understand the psychology, you stop guessing and you start knowing. There is a principle that psychologists call the emotional imprint. Here is what it means in simple terms. When a person experiences a moment that makes them feel something unexpected, something genuine, something that catches them off guard in a beautiful or meaningful way, their brain does not let it go easily. It holds on to it, it replays it, it searches for meaning in it. The brain is essentially trying to process the experience and file it away properly. And while it is doing that, the memory keeps surfacing. There is also something called the Zeigarnik effect, named after the psychologist who first documented it. The basic idea is this: the human mind obsesses over things that feel unfinished, open loops. experiences that were emotionally charged but did not fully resolve. Think about a song that cuts off before the final note. Your brain will keep trying to finish it. Think about a movie that ends on an ambiguous note. You keep thinking about it for days, trying to figure out what it meant. The same principle applies to human connection. When you ask a woman a question that opens something emotionally real inside her, something she does not get asked about every day, you create an open loop in her mind, and her brain will keep returning to that loop, trying to understand it, trying to process it, trying to figure out why that conversation felt so different from every other one she had that day. She is not thinking about the man who asked what she does for work. She is thinking about the man who made her feel something she was not ready for. That is the edge, that is the secret. And now I am going to give it to you directly. Here is the question, and I want you to read it slowly because the words matter. Look at her with calm, genuine presence and ask her this. If you could relive one moment in your life, not change it, just feel it again, what would it be? That is it. Clean, simple, profound, beyond measure. Now let me walk you through exactly why this works on every level, because understanding the why is what allows you to deliver it properly. First, it is completely unexpected. She has been asked 1,000 questions in social situations, and this is not one of them. It stops her automatic response pattern cold. She cannot answer on autopilot because she has never had to think about this before in casual conversation. That pause, that moment where she actually has to stop and think, that is where you already have her full attention. Second, the question immediately draws her into a positive emotional memory. She is not thinking about work stress or her to-do list or the conversation she had earlier that annoyed her. She is being pulled toward one of the best feelings she has ever experienced. And she is experiencing that feeling right now in front of you because of you. That is not a small thing. That is the entire game. Third, and this is the piece that makes it truly powerful, she associates that feeling with you. You became the person who unlocked that emotion in her. You are now psychologically linked to one of the most meaningful experiences in her memory. And every time that memory surfaces, which it will, you surface with it. That is how you become the man she cannot stop thinking about. Not because you are the most impressive person she met, but because you are the most real. Now let me be very clear about something, because the delivery of this question is just as important as the question itself. Your tone, your energy, your presence when you ask it, these things determine whether it lands the way it should or whether it falls completely flat. You do not rush this question. You do not smirk when you ask it like you already know it is clever. You do not ask it with nervous energy or with the energy of someone performing a technique they read about online. You ask it the way a man asks something because he genuinely wants to know the answer. Slowly, calmly, with real eye contact, with the quiet confidence of someone who is comfortable in his own skin and genuinely curious about the person in front of him. When you deliver it from that place, from real curiosity and real presence, it does not feel like a line, it feels like a window. And women walk through windows when they feel safe enough to do so. Let me paint a picture so you can see this in real life. Imagine two men at the same social event. Both of them approach the same woman within the same hour. The first man is well-dressed, friendly, perfectly likable. He asks her what she does for a living. He talks about his own work for a few minutes. He compliments her smile. He says it was great meeting her and moves on. Pleasant, inoffensive, completely forgettable. The second man, that is you now, waits for a natural moment in the conversation. He is not rushing. He is not performing. He is just present. And when the moment feels right, he looks at her with genuine calm and asks that one question. She pauses. Something shifts in her expression. Maybe she laughs a little in surprise because she has never been asked that before. And then she thinks, really thinks, and then she opens up. She shares something real, something personal, something she probably has not said out loud in a long time. And in that moment, between her sharing and you actually listening, a real human connection is made. By the time she gets home that night, she is not thinking about the first man. She is replaying her conversation with you. She is thinking about her answer and wondering what yours would be. She is thinking about what else you might have asked her. She is reaching for her phone. That is the power of one intentional question asked with genuine presence and quiet confidence. You did not chase her. You did not perform for her. You did not try to impress her with stories about yourself. You simply created a moment she could not walk away from unchanged. That is attraction at its deepest level. Now, before you go and use this, I need to give you the 3 mistakes that will completely destroy everything if you are not careful. Because the question is powerful, but like any powerful thing, how you handle it determines whether it works for you or against you. Mistake number 1 is asking it too early. Do not lead with this question the second you introduce yourself. Build 30 seconds to a minute of warm, relaxed conversation first. Let her get comfortable. Let the interaction breathe. Once there is a natural, easy energy between you, then you ask. Timing changes everything. The same question asked at the wrong moment feels strange. Asked at the right moment, it feels like the most natural thing in the world. Mistake number 2 is not actually listening to her answer. This is where most men completely waste the opportunity. They ask a genuinely great question and then they nod blankly while their brain is already rehearsing what they are going to say next. Do not do that. Be present for her answer. Actually hear it. Follow up on what she shares. Ask her why that moment meant so much to her. Ask what it felt like. Go deeper. That follow-up conversation, that is where the real connection is built. The question opens the door. Your genuine listening is what makes her want to walk through it. Mistake number 3 is using this as a trick rather than as a genuine expression of curiosity. Women are extraordinarily intuitive. If you are asking with a rehearsed energy, if there is even a trace of performance behind it, she will feel it, and she will close down immediately. This only works when it comes from a real place. You actually have to want to know her answer. You actually have to be curious about this person in front of you. If you are not, work on that first, because genuine presence is more attractive than any question ever could be. Now, let me bring this all together because I want to leave you with something that goes beyond the question itself. What you are really learning here is not a technique, it is a philosophy. It is the understanding that connection is created through depth, not performance. Through presence, not impression. Through the courage to go somewhere real in a conversation instead of staying on the surface where it is safe and comfortable and completely forgettable. Most men are terrified of depth in conversation. They stay shallow because shallow feels safe. Nobody can reject you for asking what someone does for work. But nobody falls for you either. The men who create genuine attraction are the men who are willing to go somewhere unexpected, who are willing to ask the question nobody else is asking, who are willing to sit in the pause after the question and let the moment breathe instead of rushing to fill the silence. That is the real skill. And now you have it. You already have everything you need to create the kind of connection that makes a woman think about you long after you have walked away. What you needed was the knowledge, and now you have it. Walk into your next conversation knowing you carry something most men do not carry. Carry it with calm, carry it with confidence, and carry it with genuine curiosity about the person in front of you. You are not chasing anymore, you are creating moments. And moments are what people remember. Moments are what people replay. Moments are what turn a stranger into someone she cannot get out of her head. That is who you are now. And that is only the beginning of what is possible for you.